You're listening to a V-Exchange podcast.
Hello and welcome to the V-Exchange podcast series called Philly Tech Spotlight. Today we're going to discuss the cloud industry and one of the local Philadelphia firms, Cloudamize, and some of the trends that are going on. Joining me today is Bob Moul, CEO of Cloudamize. Welcome, Bob.
Hey, John. Good to catch up.
Oh, great to have you. Thank you. Let's start off talking about cloud adoption and the industry as a whole. I know you speak to a lot of executives in the space. You have a lot of customers. What's top of mind when you're talking about transitioning applications and infrastructure into the cloud?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the first things I think is pretty interesting is just how penetrated we are overall as an industry with cloud. I'd actually left cloud for a while, as you know, and built a mobile company over the last 3-4 years, came back to cloud and was surprised that we weren't more further along than we were. So depending on who you listen to, from an enterprise standpoint, we're probably only about 10% penetrated at this point in terms of, enterprise making the journey to the cloud, beyond, say, just email. And so I think that is pretty exciting in and of itself. I think a lot of people think this year, 2016, 2017, is really, we're reaching the tipping point now where mainstream adoption of the cloud is occurring. And I think that's indicative of getting past some of the things. So to your point in your question, some of the concerns that people have had in the past, obviously security has been a big one. And I think we're finally seeing that the cloud providers have all put a tremendous amount of effort into that, and I think have fairly well addressed that concern. And so when we talk with folks these days, obviously security continues to come up, but it's not like the main driver. And I would also say, ironically, it's not just cost. One of the big allures of the cloud is definitely cost savings, but I think the really progressive companies are viewing it as more of an opportunity for agility. I mean, that the ability to quickly spin up infrastructure to support projects in the company, new product offerings, new service offerings, acquisitions, very strategic type things, I think is really where the power of the cloud is. You can really see the power of the cloud.
Sure. And I agree. I see some of the trends you're talking about on the agility side, the spin up and spin down. Certainly the security side is paramount with a lot of enterprise companies. How is Cloudamize addressing some of the concerns of the business community and some of the solutions that you're providing to them?
Yeah, so as we always say, the promise of the cloud is great, right? But the journey to the cloud is actually pretty complex, pretty difficult. And what Cloudamize does is provide the data that people need to make those cloud decisions with confidence. When you're first thinking about moving to the cloud, we can help you assess your current workloads and infrastructure and give you very accurate projections of what that would cost in each of the 3 major clouds to run. So we can tell you AWS and Azure and Google. We can then help you with migration planning. Again, all of this to date before us is really largely manual, people using spreadsheets and doing things manually. We can help you build your migration plan because we can see all the interdependencies of your applications. We can look at the interdependencies. We look at cloud readiness and suitability of your applications. We give you a migration plan that you can then customize, and then it's fully executable and ready for you to begin moving your workloads to the cloud. Once you're in the cloud, we continue to provide you the data that you need to do the ongoing, right sizing, optimization, capacity planning. We give you the data you need to do your billing analytics, so you really understand, where you're spending your money. But the common theme through all of that is Cloudamize is an analytics, cloud platform analytics solution that gives you the data you need to make those decisions with confidence.
Got it. That sounds excellent. I was doing some reading actually on Cloudamize over the past few weeks and noticed that you received some new funding. You've got some new expansions on the product side. You're looking to bring in some new talent. Out of curiosity, what kind of talent are you looking for, and how is the Philadelphia marketplace serving you?
Yeah, no, we're very, very happy, as you can see by the smile on my face, to have the round done and get that behind us. Anyone who's ever raised money knows that that can be a bit distracting. And we're super excited to have our existing investors continue to support us. Mission OG, Dream Adventures. They've been great. We have some new angels in. So very, very happy to have that done. And you're right, we're going to use the money to do a number of strategic things we want to do. There's some work on the product front that we definitely want to continue. Going to add sales and marketing capability like we really haven't had before, and begin to build a direct channel for the company. We do a lot through partners, as you would expect. Sure. So we're out looking right now for we just did hire a marketing director, and I'm very happy with that hire. So that position's filled. A very seasoned channel executive. I mean, we have a significant opportunity on the channel front for somebody with the right background. So those are a couple key roles. Sales, BDRs, account reps. There'll be a couple of positions we want to fill there. And then speaking to I guess the talent here in Philly. I think it's great, and I think the advantages I always tell people is, first of all, you got great universities here to recruit from, and we're seeing for the first time, over the past few years, the retention of those graduates increasing, which is fantastic, The other advantages are, certainly there's a cost differential. You're not paying the same sort of rates you'd be paying in the Valley for the talent. But I think they're really big differentiator, and I think it's a competitive differentiator, is the turnover. You just don't see the same sort of turnover in staff that you do, say, in New York or Boston or in the Valley. I think my experience working here in the Philly area for many, many years is that people tend to be pretty loyal. I mean, treat them right and give them a great and challenging role, and give them the ability to go off and do that. And people tend to be pretty loyal, and that's a huge cost. I mean, depending on who you listen to, the cost of replacing an employee, right, can be 10x, and disruption and time to market and all of that. So I actually think we don't talk about that much, but the lower turnover here, I think, is probably one of our strongest competitive differentiators.
That's so true, and that's an excellent point. You and I have had many conversations about the technology industry, the Philadelphia market locally. V-Exchange also, is a believer like Cloudamize. We've invested in, put a new data center downtown. We've recruited local talent. And what's exciting, we're starting to watch the burst of the technology scene or community here in Philly. And it's as we speak, we're in the middle of Philly Tech Week that's going on. Very exciting time. It's the 6th annual event for the city. There's a lot of buzz, and there's a lot of out of town people that come in for the event. I know you've been integral and part of it, and spoken at a bunch of events. For the listeners that are going to be listening to our podcast who can't go to Philly Tech Week, how would you describe it to them, and kind of what's the significance around the innovation that you see, and for the city in general?
Yeah, it's almost like a mini World's Fair, for technology and centered here in Philadelphia, because there are events that go on all day long, all week long. And so much so that the organizers now have a really cool interactive map, so you can sort of look at it by day, and you can look at a map and it shows you all the different events and when they're going on. It's kind of fun, and other events that go on that used to be independent of that we're sort of coordinating schedules. So, for example, as you know, I was chair and president of Philly Startup Leaders for many years, and we have a big event every year called Entrepreneur Expo, which this Wednesday night, if you can get out. We have 75 companies exhibiting this year, which is just phenomenal. I think we had 50 last year and 35 the year before, so it's just growing really steadily. We probably have 1,000 visitors come by. We've made that part of Philly Tech Week now as well. I'm partnered with Technically Philly on that. Other people are doing the same. So it's a week-long series of events. They now have tracks. I think the one day is like the media track, and one day is like the business track, and one day is the dev track. So you can really, I think, target your time and hit the events that you really want to hit. There's great networking events. There'll be a big networking event at the very end of the week on Friday night down at Urban Outfitters. I think it really showcases to anyone who's still not convinced that we've got a very vibrant tech scene in Philadelphia. If you come through this week, I think you would you'd have a change of heart.
I certainly agree with you, and firsthand experience. It's a sight to be seen, and hopefully folks can make it out there. That's all the questions I had, and I appreciate you coming on. I wish Cloudamize a lot of success. I know we'll be running into each other, and I want to thank you for your time.
I appreciate the well wishes, and good luck to you guys as well.
Thank you all for listening to the VExchange Philly Tech Spotlight podcast series. We hope that you will subscribe and join us. And if you have any ideas on topics or speakers, please feel free to reach out to me at jpenzica@vexchange.com.
You've been listening to a VExchange podcast.